right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 74, and we're doing Southern Star Brewing Company's Cygourd.
I'm glad that you pronounced that correctly because I've been saying cyborg, and that makes no sense considering this is a play on a pumpkin ale.
Well, I mean, but Cyborg, yeah, that's
I,
you
I
know,
know, but like I've been saying the full name. I've been going, oh yeah, Southern Star Cyborg, and that makes no sense if you think about. I mean, it makes
yeah,
sense, but like
the word
for
makes
once,
sense,
I'm
but
wrong.
yeah. So
All
yeah,
right,
wait,
sell
hold
it,
on, yeah,
send it.
I don't want to just skim past that. You're what
You
now?
did, yeah. You
Oh,
skimmed way past it. We're past it. It's too far gone.
dang it.
We've come too far.
So yes, like you said, this is a pumpkin ale, coming in at 6.3%, and 18 IBUs. So
Wow, that's a so it's going to be fairly mellow, and a little on the heavier side when it comes to alcohol content.
yeah,
Another thing I'm going to say, like this is, pour your heart out, average white girl, because this is the pumpkin spice of ales. It's not pumpkin spice; it's just a pumpkin ale. But seasonally, this is when when the hand soaps hit, the candles hit, the scent hit.
and the
Um,
Cygourds hit.
and the Cygourds hit. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
Wendy's even has a damn pumpkin spice frosty now, which is
Oh.
sacrilege to me, but nonetheless.
Um. Yeah, I don't know when they released this, but I know that it is a limited release. It says limited, and doesn't limited usually mean like, you know, maybe once in a while we release it?
Um, yeah, I think seasonal. Are you trying to do the differentiation between limited and seasonal?
Yeah, because
So,
the past. So I had this probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. And I really enjoyed it. Well, I'll say I enjoyed it. I can't remember how much I enjoyed it, but I remember not hating it, basically. Um,
dude, wait, real
and
quick though, low bar like that. You were supposed to give me some sense of comfort with that. You, I went on an emotional roller coaster just then. You were like, I remember liking it. Well, I mean, I remember like I liked it, but I don't know like to what extent. I didn't hate it. Like, what the fuck does
yeah,
that even mean?
well,
We're back at square one.
I'm just saying, I don't want to try to influence anyone's taste. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, if this was like a room, like a what do you call it? What are those things that you come with me on this journey? Like the things you put the scent things that you put Scentsy.
Cincy,
Fuck, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, if this were a Scentsy all day long because it smells like a pumpkin pie.
yeah,
It
um,
actually it smells like the fill, which is going to be bad to a lot of people, but I set the stage pretty poor sometimes, and I mean good things. To me, it smells like as soon as you crack the can of pumpkin filling, which is actually sweet potatoes for most folks. If you didn't know that, I hate to break your heart. But anyway, as soon as you crack that can of pumpkin filling to mix in your pie, that's what it smells like.
mhm. Yeah,
Anyways,
it does. I enjoy the smell of it.
yeah, dude. So I hope it tastes half-ass as much like this, although I'm getting a lot of nutmeg, and sometimes you know how people are like,
Overdo the nutmeg.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
easily overdo nutmeg. Like you
yeah.
can't really overdo garlic. One time I did, but you can't really overdo garlic. You can overdo nutmeg, and it changes the whole game. But
Yeah.
back to answer your question that we
Well,
rambled on about. So
real quick before you answer it, the only reason I ask is because, like I said, I had it like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and it's released at the same time every year. For like, I always see it during this season every year, so I don't know if it's technically a limited or really just a seasonal at this point.
well, it might have changed. It might have been a limited, and now they're making it seasonal. But I think another way to define this would be seasonal is guaranteed. We know that, right? Seasonal
Yeah.
shandies and things like that.
Right.
Guaranteed, it's always going to come out with season. I think a limited means it's seasonal, but we don't do it every year.
But it's not guaranteed, basically.
Yeah. Although
Okay.
in my mind, a limited is like this is a one-time deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like this
Yeah.
is kind of like how people do like clothing and stuff, right? Like this is a
Yeah,
limited release.
or a lot of people do beers that way, right? Like especially
Yeah.
collaborations and shit like that.
Hmm.
Um, but hold on, let's
Yeah,
get
let's
right into
pour
it.
while you pour it. I'll read out what the description is really on their website. It says a dark copper ale with a rich creamy mouthfeel due to a generous addition of oatmeal, caramel malt flavors with a touch of pumpkin pie spice in the finish.
Okay. Okay.
So the copper ale look is pretty on point.
Yeah. She's a
Uh,
little cloudy, but not
ooh,
crazy.
great head though. Great
Oh,
foam.
dude, it's beautiful. And
Incredible.
it's you can't really tell. It's not super super thick, not like Guinness thick, but it's thicker than your average foam.
Thicker than a
She
Snicker.
said. Indeed.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm actually starting to get I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm actually starting to get a little bit concerned because I'm catching a lot of pumpkin spice. Like
Yeah.
lot. And I don't want it to be artificial. Like I want it to be organic.
Why don't you tell us about
Yeah.
that glass you're using this week, dude?
Okay, okay, hold on. So sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, sometimes you do, man. So I want to see your reaction. I want to get your reaction here.
okay. So honestly, a couple of things I'll say off the bat.
Yeah.
In a good way, in a good way, it's not over pumpkin spicy. Thank God.
Yes.
It's got more of the nutmeg smell than it does taste.
Yeah.
Okay. I do enjoy it. It does scream fall. It does. And also shout out to Southern Star because I know that it's like Cygourd. Cygourd. Fuck, dude, I'm
Yeah.
struggling. Cygourd. And like there's this crazy character on it that's like, kind of Halloweenish. But the beer itself gives me straight up seasonal vibes.
Yeah, straight up. Like when
Yeah.
honestly, when I drink this, I don't think like Halloween, right? Like what
No.
which is the vibe they're given because there's a little jack-o'-lantern on there, right? I legit get like November.
Oh, dude, I feel like as soon as this touched my lips, yeah, I felt like I was walking through like a 1990s freaking Garden Ridge. Not
Oh
home
yeah.
store, bud,
Yeah.
but the OG Garden Ridge. It smelled like cinnamon 365, bro.
It did.
Um, so that's what I'm getting out of this. It brings me back. This is what the store smelled like, and there's just a shitload of leaves on strings and like
Yes.
burlap. Not quite sure why, but
Yeah.
mm.
Man, dude. Yeah. Is it home store now? What is it called actually?
Yeah, it used to be Garden Ridge, but now it's like at home.
At home, that's what it is.
And it still
Yeah.
smells the same, but it doesn't have that same
It's
generic like
it's not the same vibe.
all
Different
nah.
vibe. They tried to go
Mm.
too much like what is it's not is it Marshalls? What's the
Like TJ Maxx-ish or Home Goods.
Home Goods. Yeah, they tried to go too
Yeah.
Home Goods with it and they didn't keep the right vibe. Like everyone wants the vibe, not the
Yeah.
products necessarily.
Also too, like I felt like everybody accepted Garden Ridge. Like
Yeah.
you could have been 80 or 90 years old. You were like, yeah, we're headed to Garden Ridge. Or you could have been like a teen. You're like, hey, we're going to Garden Ridge.
Yeah.
Now at home is like late 30s,
Yeah.
you got a couple kids, you're on a budget doing some decor.
Mhm.
Um, you want your seasons to be super early, so you're getting things for a deal, or you're going the day after to get things for a deal. We didn't plan on
Yeah.
covering this, but I'm glad that it's coming out because I've been holding a lot of this in.
Our
Um,
resentment.
yeah, I liked the OG Garden Ridge.
You know what's never changed not a single day of my life?
What?
Hobby Lobby, man.
Mm-mm.
They've kept it true to its colors since the day it opened.
Bro, I'm pretty sure that most of the locations have the original paint, original tile, and original buggies in it,
An
dude.
original
Fuck it.
schedule.
Why is it that you need to fix something? Like, that is stereotypical. If it ain't broke, don't
Don't
fix it.
fix it. Yeah. It
Yeah, I
really
bet you that's
truly
why.
is.
I bet you that's why Garden Ridge had to reinvent themselves because they were
Cuz
just getting killed by fucking Hobby Lobby.
yeah, that's probably true, honestly. You're
Yeah.
you're probably hitting the nail on the head on that one.
Because I think there was not enough brand differentiation there, and Hobby Lobby was killing them in regards to everything. Maybe not outdoor furniture, but pretty much everything else.
Yeah, I mean anything
Holiday or decor related.
yeah, there's no one better than Hobby Lobby in my
Um,
opinion.
so yeah, it definitely gives me those old OG Garden Ridge vibes. Um, one last thing I'm gonna say about it is that I don't get the overwhelming pumpkin spice.
Mm-mm.
but also I don't get near like by smelling it, and we've said this multiple times, but it's one of those beers where you smell it and you're like, oh shit, this is going to be packed with flavor. And it is good, but it's not
As
super, super pumpkin-y. I don't
yeah,
get.
as packed as you think it's gonna be.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thankful because, like I said, I don't want it to be overbearing.
It's just as good as I remember it, quite honestly.
Hey, and now I'm not, you did not lead me astray, but like, I now see why we went on that journey.
Right.
Because it's good and I would definitely drink it and if offered it and I would maybe buy it again to bring somewhere and share with some people. But I don't think um I don't think I would remember it. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
know that's terrible to say out
It's kind
loud,
of
but
because it's like such an obscure flavoring, right? Like you don't, typically you would think like, oh, it's so obscure you would remember it, but it's more like I've never really tasted anything else like this, so like I'm not really gonna, I can't remember what it's gonna be like after 3 months. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's not like it's not bad where you're like, oh shit, like certain
Yeah.
beer, like dude, the non-alcoholic Guinness, I will remember till the
Yeah.
day I die exactly what that
Yeah.
tastes like,
Me too.
right?
I have described it to people multiple times. I mean, I know it's only been a couple weeks, but
There's not one that this doesn't fit in that category. It's not like I wouldn't write home about it, but like I'm not gonna forget it. Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Well, we'll
Yeah.
get into all that at the end as well,
Yeah,
per
obviously.
usual.
That's near the end of the episode,
Yeah.
and not now.
Yeah.
So
We got to get into some of the things we actually had planned for this episode. Try
yeah,
to keep this one on track a little bit.
not in doubtful, not in any particular order, but this brings up a good question because we kind of had a little bit of a talk about this either when we purchased the beer or just as we were getting into the episode. But like, first off, what kind of like I think of gourds. I told you about my gourd thing.
Hmm.
Um, but like, what kind of gourds are we running into? Is the average human, American, Texan, interacting with? And the reason we talked about it earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and set the stage. The reason I asked this question is because growing up, we had like
Yeah.
grandpa had like ladles that I'm pretty sure we would use for like rainwater. Sometimes we would use them for feed, but they were like a long neck, they were hollow and they were dry, a long neck, and then the gourd was on the end and there was a hole, and so it acted like a little ladle.
Mm.
And I would always ask him, I'm like, what the heck is that? And he would say it was a gourd and no more explanation. Like that's just all the explanation that I got. And so
Right.
growing up, I thought it wasn't a genre of things. I thought it was just like you would say that's an orange. And
Yeah.
like I thought it was just that's a gourd, and that's just what that was. And I never saw one out in the wild. They were always dried with a
Yeah.
hole in them, and it was just a ladle.
Yeah.
So I don't know to this day what other gourds. I've never seen one in the wild, like with shit like. But a pumpkin's a gourd, right?
Yes,
What is a
technically.
gourd? We're gonna have to Google this. Do you
I'm
know that? Do
I,
you know? Go ahead.
well, I don't know necessarily. Like I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if a pumpkin is a gourd, but I think a gourd is a pumpkin. You know what I mean? Kind of like the whole square and rectangle thing, right?
Wait,
Where
wait, wait,
like
wait, wait, wait. Run that back again. You don't think a.
I don't
Go
think
ahead.
I'm not sure if a pumpkin is a gourd, but I think a gourd is a pumpkin. Do you know what I'm saying? So like I like the family name is pumpkin, right? And the gourd is kind of like a subcategory.
So you're
You know what I'm
saying that
saying?
you could have a pumpkin, like a pan, like what are they called? Like a squash pumpkin? Fuck, dude. I don't know all the different pumpkins, okay?
Yeah.
But you know, like the real ugly ones that like have the lumps all over
Yeah.
them and they're
Right.
wartish in different colors.
Right.
Like you're saying that might not be a gourd, but like a regular carving pumpkin is. I'm confused.
No,
So
so
I understand what you're saying, like the square and the rectangle. I get it.
right, like
But
not every rectangle is a square, but every square is a rectangle, right?
yeah.
So like not and what I'm saying that I think it is not every not every pumpkin is a gourd, but every gourd is a pumpkin.
I don't know. I still think that we're saying that we're not going to get a resolve to this. and I think it's because people don't understand. So,
Uh,
not
well, and I
not
could be
every
wrong.
pumpkin is not every pumpkin is a gourd, but
Every gourd is a pumpkin.
no, 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 that can't be
Yes,
because
it can.
there are other fruits that are gourds, meaning not every gourd is a pumpkin.
Well, see, I don't know that. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
It's like I
well,
don't
I'm gonna tell
know.
you, not a lot of insight from, and I'm using our friend Google. I did the right thing this time. I didn't let Bing
Oh,
take a
there we go.
stab at it first and waste my
We're
time.
getting him there, guys. We're getting him there.
But here's the problem. In Google fashion, they've done better. I'm actually a little disappointed. So the
Maybe
first
you should
thing
try
is to
Bing.
find fucking doubtful. If this is what Google's returning me, then Bing doesn't stand a chance. But anyways, so gourd, first definition, a fleshy, typically large fruit with a hard skin, some varieties of which are edible. So keep that in your mind. That makes sense, but like I'm still not quite sure
First of
because
all,
it's
is a pumpkin a fruit? Pumpkin's a vegetable, isn't it?
dude, well listen, I only
Okay. All
can
right.
open
We'll
so
get
many
there. We'll
doors.
get there. We'll get there.
All right, so a fleshy, typically large fruit with a hard skin, some varieties of which are edible. I get all that, but I'm still not any closer to really knowing. Like, there's a
Yeah.
shitload of large fruits out there with hard skins, some of which are edible, some of which aren't.
Did
Does
you?
that mean,
Can you just look up? Is a gourd a pumpkin?
dude, I'm gonna get there, but I feel like
Okay,
we need to.
man. All
Okay,
right.
so in this case, like a cucumber could be a gourd, right? Think about this.
I think. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
All
just
right.
all
Yeah.
right for just put a
Oh,
pin
yeah.
in
I
that.
got you. I got you.
The second definition is a climbing or trailing plant, okay,
Okay.
which bears gourds. Think about that for a second. How fucked up is it to define a gourd with gourd? If I knew what a gourd was, I wouldn't need to know that it was a climbing or trailing plant that bared gourds. That's where I'm so confused, Google.
Yeah.
They didn't pressure test this.
Is
Also,
that maybe just how they grow?
bro, I
I
listen. I was thinking. I thought this was gonna be way simpler than it was. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, gourds include the fruits of some flowering plants. Like, so fucking vague. Some? Which ones? That's what I came here to define. Jesus.
yeah.
Species in the family. Oh, now we're getting scientific. Species in the family. mm, Cucurbitaceae. Cucurbitaceae. Particularly the cucurbita and the laganaria. Listen, dude. It's the one of the earliest domesticated types of plants.
I think.
Subspecies of the bottle gourd. Oh, by the way, motherfucker, a cucumber is a gourd.
Oh,
So this breaks your all gourds are
pump.
pumpkins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But 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 I do want to make one correction here. All pumpkins are
Those are
gourds.
gourds. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. We figured it out.
So it's crop plants that are of this certain species.
So
Okay. I
so
don't
I
know.
said it backwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right.
everything that you're thinking of makes sense. Like now that I'm gonna give you some examples.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you some yes or no's, and you're going to tell me if they're gourds or not. Okay.
Okay.
But one more point that I want to make is if we already have the species and the flower of the species, why do we have to, as humans, call it something separate? Like the gourd does no more defining for us than the scientific name and the fact that it flowers.
It's just a oversimplification of like a larger group,
Group of
I
yeah,
guess.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They all are from the Cucurbitaceae or whatever. I think that was actually pretty close. We're gonna have to slow that down, but they're all the
Cucurbitaceae.
Cucurbitaceae. They're all from that, and they're flowering. But we're gonna call them gourds.
Okay.
But anyway, okay. It's easier to say gourd than Cucurbitaceae. Dude, I'm getting good at that. Anyways, all right, here we go. So, pumpkin
Yeah.
gourd.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be a gourd, right?
Okay,
Well,
dude.
because I mean, you see some. I mean, like the gourds that we know, right? That we've
Mhm.
seen look very much like a pumpkin. They're just like a
Yeah.
long, extended, weirdly shapen pumpkin, but same like build. Not build, like makeup. You know what I mean? On the
Yes.
exterior, at least.
Um. All right. So bell pepper.
No.
Not a gourd. Not a gourd.
There we
Huh?
go.
I tested you and you failed. I mean,
No,
actually, you
no, no.
you you
I
succeeded.
passed with flying colors. I don't.
Yeah, you did. Peanut.
No.
No, that is correct.
Dang.
Um,
Good.
a cucumber. I mean, I already let the
Yeah.
cat
Yeah.
out
You
of the
already
bag
said
on
that
that
one.
one.
I would have
Um,
guessed no on cucumber though. By the way, just to let you know.
is it because of the size? It's because
It,
of the
it
size.
it is. It's because of the size. Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I have a new definition for gourd that I'm just gonna throw out there. This is gonna kind of fuck up what we got going on here. So you let me know if you want me to spill the beans or not.
Okay. Uh, you want to say it after?
Yeah, okay. Squash.
It has to be right.
Yeah, hands down a
Yeah.
gourd. Easy.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I think of the gourds that Grandpa was using as ladles, I think of the butternut squash because it's pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, a a melon.
Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. That is
Oh
correct.
wow. I'm only
Um,
going off of off of like what I know. They grow on. I guess because of the definition that you gave me.
yeah, here's another one, a loofah.
I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna
Yeah, dude.
say yeah. It is one.
Okay. It is for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I gave that one away. But
Yeah.
immediately I pronounced it as loofah, and I'm like, you mean the
I
thing
was
you
like,
shower with?
wait a second. Those grow out in the wild? I thought they were
Uh,
making those in a plant.
they do grow out in the wild. Not the ones that we purchase, obviously. But what's so hilarious to me is they're all the cucurbitaceae. Why the hell are we calling them gourds and not just normalizing the use of cucurbitaceae?
I think we're finding that out as we're talking about it.
Um,
I want to know who came up with the name. Okay, that's what I want to know. Can we try to
dude,
figure that? There's
also
no way that that's on the Googs, right?
here's what, who came up with the name? I don't know. I'll keep digging, but
Because
actually
cuckoo, like you would think if you were trying to like normalize a word or like a group of things, and it was cucurbitaceae. Is that what you're saying?
cucurbitaceae,
You
yep.
just call them cuckoos, right? But then
Yeah, you're right.
there was some a hole out there that was like, "Nah, man, that's a gourd," and people were like, "You know what? That is a gourd."
It's a very southern way to explain that. We're just like, I don't know what that is. We're gonna call that a gourd.
Yeah, exactly,
It
exactly.
upended itself. You mean that you tumped it over? Anyway, history, real quick, and then I'll get off the gourds. Uh, dude, so also there's as if we needed this differentiation because we all know they're cucurbitaceae. Um, there are certain subsets of gourds. There is the wax gourd, the snake gourd, the teasel gourd, the hedgehog gourd, and the buffalo slash coyote gourd. The bitter melon,
We're too
the
far gone
apple.
as a civilization.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a good one because I wouldn't consider this. A pear. Drastically different than a cucumber, drastically different than a squash and or a pumpkin. It's a gourd.
Fairly
And I think
similar shape though.
yeah, but here's the thing, it breaks the rules. It's the only one without a hard outer surface. Think about a pumpkin, think about a
Well,
squash. I guess a cucumber's kind of soft.
it's harder than a pear though.
It is harder than a pear. So here's the thing I was going to say earlier. Anything where you can cut it open and then scoop out like a mucusy group of seeds, that's a gourd.
Mm, yeah,
See what I'm saying?
yeah. You are correct in that, sir. Well, except maybe the pear. Now that we've gotten to that.
That's what I'm saying. That one doesn't fit the mold. But
Hmm.
anywho,
Who would have
so
thought
they
that
are
I would love to eat gourds so much though? I love pears.
huge fan of gourds aside from the cucumber. But all other gourds are fine in my book. I haven't had
Yeah,
them all, but the ones I have had. More than I thought, though, according to this.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the cucurbitaceae.
There's no way
Um,
Grandpa knew all this, by the way.
no,
No, absolutely zero way. He was just like, "Yep." He was
that's
one of the
good.
persons. He was one of the people that came up with the name. Probably, I bet. You know what I
They were
mean?
like, was that a melon
Cucurbitaceae?
squash? Yeah, is that a cucurbitaceae? And he's like, you mean a
No,
gourd?
no, no. That's a gourd, bro. What are you talking
Dude,
about?
listen, we're not gonna rapid fire puns, but there's an obvious one here. Oh my gourd, it is.
It is. Oh man, yeah. That's a good
I
one.
walked out in that field and by God, there was a cucurbitaceae. All right, anyway, okay. So
Oh.
they are native to the Americas, but they are of Peruvian and Thailandian descent. So I don't know if we have to thank them for all gourds or the wording or phrasing of it. There are wild and poisonous gourds as well.
Oh God.
We could go on for days, but to answer your question, um,
Yeah.
why is this a subset? Dude, scientists in India have been working on crossbreeding 6 members of bitter gourd to introduce
We're
additional non-bitter gourds to the spine and teasel gourd. Dude, listen. Okay,
we're too
we have
far gone. We're too
we have
far
so
gone.
many things going on. Like I know everyone has to have their purpose and you got to find your why and do what makes you happy and all that other trash, right? But who's waking up and they're like, "You know what I really wish we could do? Have one more gourd amongst the plethora of gourds we have, cornucopia if you will." That kind of
Oh.
fits cuz,
Yeah, it does kind of fit. Because I was about to say, because when I think of gourds, I think of like November,
cornucopias.
really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Thanksgiving almost.
So anyway, I I can't live in this world without fulfilling my purpose of transforming 6 different bitter gourds into regular approachable teasel or spine
What
gourds.
is your purpose in life?
Gourds,
To,
bud.
to
Cucurbitaceae.
I was born to create a new cucurbitaceae.
A new cucurbitaceae. But yeah, they get used for all kinds of shit. Percussion instruments, pluck string instruments,
Ladles.
headgear, ladles,
Yeah.
bottles, water transport. Long and short of this is the pumpkin is always a gourd.
The gourd is not always the pumpkin. A pumpkin.
Correct,
All right.
correct. But they are all
So,
cucurbitaceae.
we
So we got
started
that squared.
we started the episode off with you being wrong. We have moved on to me being wrong.
Listen, dude, I would not expect that bold of a statement to be
How?
accurate.
Okay,
But
but
secondly,
how crazy would it have been if you would have been like, "What is a gourd though?" And I would have been like, "Oh, you mean our
cucurbitaceae. How are we gonna end it? That would have been the shortest episode ever. I would have been like, fucking case closed.
how crazy would that? You know what's crazy is the next time somebody asks me what a gourd is, now I can say that.
What is a gourd, by the way? You mean a cucurbitaceae?
They would be like, "Dude, just leave." You know what I mean? That's not knowledge that you need in life.
Dude, also, I'm pretty sure that I am just ironically pronouncing that correctly. The Cucurbitaceae, also called cucurbits,
Okay.
or the gourd family, are a plant family consisting of about 965 species and around
Nah.
95 genera.
Nope. We're too far. Let's move on. We got to get out of here.
Okay.
900. Oh my God. This is.
Squash, pumpkin, zucchini, courgette. Bro, dude, they need to stop fucking defining the word with the word. Cucurbitaceae, right? Part of the gourd family, are all the gourd family, consist of squash, pumpkin, zucchini, courgettes, and some other gourds. Motherfucker, you can't use gourd to define gourd.
Yeah. You can't.
Okay.
Yeah. We've fallen.
Listen, I'm about to get fairly angry at the reason why we use gourds. There's not a lot of there's more there is more uses for the gourd itself than there are reasons for which we use the word gourd, but
Yeah.
onward and afterwards. So apparently we're running into more gourds than we think we are.
We are. Despite my knowledge, we're running into a lot in day to day
I bet.
life.
And I bet you that for every cucurbitaceae that exists, there is a beer potentially that could result from it.
Well, I know I've had a cucurbitaceae wine. I've had a pear wine.
Oh, for sure. I've had a cucurbitaceae beer. We had the pickle one.
But we're having one right now.
Ooh, we are having one right now. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then we got to move on because we've gone too far. Dead horse beaten over by dead horse.
Yeah.
Back to your original point. A cucumber is a gourd.
Yeah.
But a pickle's not.
Well, that's because
Because the cucumber's not a pickle. Not all cucumbers are pickles,
right,
but
but
all
all
pickles
pickles are
are
cucumbers.
cucumbers, therefore they're gourds. All right, we're moving on.
All right.
Okay.
It's yeah, let's get out of here, bro. My brain can't handle this anymore. You know,
Um,
I'm a beer deep at this point. We got to get out of the gourd section.
so speaking, where'd you guys? Well, we fell victim to the gourd section. We were able to whittle one into a shovel and dig ourselves a very shallow grave.
Yeah, exactly.
So, um, on that same note, okay, so because I mean, most of the gourds that we interact with are edible. I I want to mention this. Okay, so restaurants that you like as a kid, either I don't want to say nostalgic because I need to further define that. I'm not going to use the word nostalgia, by the way, to define nostalgia, as Google just did with gourds over and over. But restaurants that you went to as a kid or that hold a genuine place in your heart because you loved them for one reason or another, that like do you think that they're good because it was part of your life and like what you experienced, or have you gone back as an adult and eaten them and been like, this shit still slaps? Like, I want you to start off with a restaurant first off that you think fits that mold. Okay, start
Okay.
off with a restaurant and call it out by name of like, we ate it growing up, or it was a treat growing up, or we liked it, and then we didn't eat it for a long period of time, and you went back and you ate it and you're like, I was fucking right when I said
Yeah.
this shit was killer. So start with one of those, and then I need you to give me an example of something that you loved as a kid but now you realize straight garbage. So go
Has
ahead.
to be a restaurant.
But no, it doesn't have to be a restaurant, but I would
I'm gonna
prefer it be a
I'm
restaurant.
gonna try to make it a restaurant, but it's gonna be hard for me to find a second one like that.
Okay,
Uh,
so your first one. Do your first one then.
so the first one that came to mind for me was Vernon's Catfish, right?
Okay. That's
Um,
that was okay. You were going to be given three opportunities there, and that one was right in the middle. You got lucky that that's the one I was hoping you would say. But go
yeah.
ahead,
So Vernon's
explain why.
Catfish is obviously a catfish, well, seafood place, I guess. Well, it's more like a home cooking place, right?
Yeah, it's
They got
weird how many people don't eat seafood when they go there, which to me seems taboo, but it apparently a lot of people do. Go
yeah,
ahead.
which technically, I mean, I guess there's saltwater catfish, but let's be honest with ourselves. I realize that it's just like right, it's all labeled as seafood, but
Yeah,
the catfish we're eating there aren't from the sea; it's from the lake
yeah,
or a lake, right? Anyways, yeah, Vernon's Catfish. It's obviously a restaurant that serves catfish over here in the Conroe area in Texas, and I remember we used to go there a lot growing up. I
yeah,
would say at least, well, a lot meaning like at least like once a month, right? I feel like it was pretty
yeah,
often.
yeah.
Um, and obviously, I would eat the catfish all the time with some hush puppies, some fries, and it was always great. And then I don't think once I got to like seventh grade, I think we didn't really go again until I had graduated high school. I think like it was that long, and there's no reason for us not to go. It's like 15 minutes from the house. Like we should have been going
Yeah.
still, but we just didn't go. Not for really any reason that I can remember, but I went back after graduating high school and I was like, this is exactly how I remember it. And it's delicious. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's some of the best catfish I've ever had in my life.
So on the Vernon's front specifically, um, I am the same way. Obviously, I moved away, and so I went many
Yeah.
years. I would say better part of a decade, right?
Yeah.
And then I was pumping it up to Kate. I'm like, we got to go get Vernon's. She was like, Vernon's is terrible, and I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, did something happen? So here's the thing. I thought maybe somewhere along the way she had gone back and experienced it and was like, it's terrible. And I was like, oh my God, that can't be. Like, I have to prove that to myself. And so we went, and I was like, fucking, are you kidding me? It's
This
exactly the
is,
same way it was
this is
10 years ago. And
incredible.
it was incredible. And even she was like, I must have been mistaken. And I
Yeah.
was like,
I must
oh,
have been thinking about someplace else.
yes. And ever since then, we work it back in at least once a month.
Yeah.
So that is one example, and that is the perfect example because obviously I can share in that one. I know, but that's what I mean by are they really good or are they really not? But give me I'm going to give you my other one, but I want you to give me your failure one first that you went back and you tested.
It it's really I don't think I've gone back to a restaurant honestly that I don't think I went to a restaurant as a kid and haven't gone back in a long time and went to it and it was bad, right?
Okay.
I I genuinely can't think of a single place right now that that has happened. Um,
Okay.
but food wise, I mean, I mean, not we all, but you know, everyone in my family knows that. Boy, I I ate those Vienna sausages with ketchup for
Yeah.
a better part of 2 years,
Are you
only
not a
exclusively.
fan now?
I cannot even stand the sight of the cans of them.
Really? Is it a
Eh,
textural thing
It is.
or
I think I just ate myself through an entire lifetime's worth of Vienna sausages in 2 years, and just the thought of somebody else enjoying them, the smell of them, the gelatin appearance of them in the can, um, the appearance of them on a plate without any of the liquids, the appearance of the liquids inside, everything about it, especially mixed with ketchup, because of the fact that I hate ketchup now. Um, it just irks me to my core. I can't do it anymore.
I don't so I never ate them with ketchup. I do eat them frequently.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean that's a deer season slash kayak fishing slash wade fishing treat.
Oh no.
You can tuck them anywhere. It's perfect. I do like them for that, but I want them straight up out of the can or with a little bit of mustard on a cracker. I don't know anybody who's plating them though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. That's not something that goes
Well,
directly from the can into your mouth or directly from the can onto the crackers. Sometimes I take a drywall screw and I just screw it down in there so I can pull it out of the can right away and I don't even have to touch it. Um, yeah, I'm not plating those, so it wouldn't weird me out to see them on a plate.
well, I'm pretty sure that's how mom served it to me as a child.
Oh, 1,000%. But
So, you know, that's why I say
um,
that. Restaurant though,
but
I really cannot think of a restaurant.
the only reason I don't think that fits the bar, not because it's not a restaurant, but the only reason that doesn't fit this whole like scenario I'm trying to talk about is because like I don't think there's anyone out there that really at the beginning was like, man, I could go for some Vienna sausage. Like it's always
No,
a food of necessity, okay?
I
It's
agree
not
100%. I agree
yeah,
with you
they're not like,
100%.
dude, you know what's banging? A cold can, well,
Yeah,
room
there
temp because you don't want it to gel, but a cold can of Viennies.
you know there wasn't a single person that went, oh, "How dare you?"
Dude, really? I'm shutting this shit off. 30
Yeah.
minutes in. It's bullshit. He's talking
Yeah.
trash about Vienna
Yeah.
sausages.
Not a single person said that.
Um, what's crazy to me is like potted meat tastes so much different and it's basically the same thing. But we're gonna go past. So okay, so there were a couple of things you could have brought up here, and I'm gonna call out one of the other ones that I think to me really put stuff in perspective, especially as of late. So as a kid, we grew up eating from a local pizza place.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And I thought it had the best pizza on the planet. But again, we
Oof.
live in some out in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to agree with you.
You think there's better pizza?
Oh no. I thought you were going into the
No, 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 no. Calm down. Calm down.
okay.
Calm down. So I thought that it was the best pizza on the planet.
Yeah.
And I traveled the world over and we lived in a bunch of different places, had the New York, the Chicago's, right? Anywhere you could go. I haven't had any like from Naples, okay? Not the OG, but for as far as American pizza. And for many, many years, I went without it. And then it wasn't until we moved back, right? So it's been like five,
Mhm.
6 years, I guess. So
Yeah.
we moved back that we went and got it again. And I shit you not, dude. When I pulled that slice out of that box and I ate it, immediately I forgot about every other fucking pizza I've ever had in my life
There's
because
nothing like it.
it was still on point. And to this day, I could eat it once, and this I can't say this about very many things. I don't even know if I could say this about Vernon's. Definitely not Vienna sausage. But I could eat it once a week and still be excited
Oh
for it
yeah.
to be on the same day at the same time and continuously be excited about it. And so that is my example. The three I came up with was Pizza Shack,
Yeah.
right? The Shack Special.
If you're ever by any means anywhere close to Willis, Texas, for
Dude,
the love of God, please swing by Pizza Shack and try.
I listen, and I would say the same thing about Vernon's if you're in the area. Like there's a lot of places to get catfish, but Vernon's is
Yeah.
the shit. It's like the hush puppies with the tomato relish. Like it's
Good home
epic.
cooking.
But
Just
I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people are gonna be like, no way. I say if you're within 2 hours of Pizza Shack, do it on a Sunday or do it
yeah.
on a Saturday. Like worth building your day. Like, hey, we're gonna go get some Shack, and just make the drive and do all the stupid great. Get the scratch offs at the shitty gas stations on the way over, and fucking monsters, and do the show tunes in your car by yourself or maybe with your friends, whatever. Do all that. Get the pizza and go home. That's a killer Sunday. Within 2 hours, it's worth the fucking drive every time. We live
So good.
35 minutes from them,
Yeah.
right? You know, right?
Yeah.
I will I will leave the house, be on the road for 8 minutes, seven, it's usually 7 or 8 minutes. There's this one particular turn, call it in. And as soon as I get there, they're sliding it into the fucking
Oh,
window.
yeah.
And then I grab it and go all the way home. It's an hour and 10 minutes round trip. I would do it every day if I could, if there was Pizza Shack. Okay.
Yeah.
So absolutely slamming, but it holds true. Now, the second one was Vernon's. The third one is a whole separate example that I'm going to give you, and there's a different reason why it's nostalgic. But the reason I know that Shaq is so killer is because in college, and this is where I think you thought I was going. In college, there was a pizza place that we absolutely loved. I'm not going to name it for what the rest of what I'm going to say. And they have, and it was great. Like it was late night food. They were open like almost 24 hours a day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for bars to get out. It was located right downtown. And they had killer shit during Mardi Gras. They had an epic bar. The bar atmosphere was super tight, dude. It was like a little shotgun.
Yeah.
15 people in this bitch. It felt like one of a massive like DJ nightclub. Like it was just super tight. Anyway, they had a pizza that was like their everything pizza. Okay. And in college, for a small period of time, I thought it was better than the Shack
Ooh.
Special. And I would just tell everyone, you got to go here, you got to get it. Here's what it is. And I remember loving every minute of it in college. Okay. Recently, Katie and I, after about a 10 or 12 year, 13-year hiatus from being in the city, in the city where we went to college, we went back and we had one. And immediately I was disappointed, but I didn't want to show that I was disappointed because I thought maybe it was just me, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it was a bad example or whatever. But like I cut eyes at her across the room because we were amongst a big group of people. I cut eyes at her across the room, and her eyes told me, even amongst all the other shit that was going on, she was like, I'm extremely disappointed in how this tastes, and I'm a little bit depressed that we were so excited to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And so later we talked about it and I was like, did it lose its luster or were we just wrong? And we didn't come to a consensus yet because we've only had two examples of it because we ate some more the next day. But I think it just wasn't that good.
Well, I think maybe you had just been so deprived from the best, back in the day that
And
you were trying to maybe fill a void, right? And
you're
now that you
right.
live back here, you have filled that void again with the best. And so you're going back with an entirely different view of za, you know?
You're probably right. And honestly, let's say for instance I was wrong about the Shack Special. And I moved back here and I had a Shack Special and it disappointed me. Then would the other pizza in the non-named pizza in the non-named town where I went to school,
Mhm.
would it still hold its value? No one will ever know because the
We'll never
Shack
know.
knocked it out
Yeah,
of
it
the
doesn't
fucking park.
matter. That's a very clear point we need to make is if you do make it to Pizza Shack, you have to get the Shack special. That's the one we're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about.
Honestly,
The other pizzas are good too. Don't get me wrong. Especially from someone who is very specific about their cheese to sauce ratio, right? Um, but the Shack special is the one that we're talking about. That is the
dude,
hands down best pizza in America,
all the way
at
around.
least.
I half jokingly told Katie because we went yesterday
Yeah.
But I half jokingly told Katie yesterday, I'm like, why do they even serve anything else? And like at first it was a joke, like because obviously you gotta have shit for the kids and like
Right,
people.
right.
Their other foods are great, I guess. No, their other foods are great,
I think
but
I've only ever had one other thing from there. So
I think I had a little bit of Elliott spaghetti. But all that being said, they could probably get away with just making the Shack special, and that's it. You want a large or you want a medium.
I
That's it.
think I think the turn off for a lot of people is the stuff that comes on it, right? Because even for me, like
Everything.
when I was growing up, um, I didn't like a lot of things on my pizza, right? Like I wasn't a supreme pizza guy. In fact, listen, people are gonna laugh at me. Growing up, I didn't like cheese. So I would even take the cheese off of my pizza because I was a weird kid, okay? I admit it, it's weird. I live with it. That's what I
Did
did,
we ever?
okay?
I don't want to take you off topic here, but did you ever explain why? Was it a taste or a texture?
It was for me it was a taste thing. It was never really I mean maybe a little bit texture, but it was like I couldn't really explain it. And then one day somebody forced me to eat it on a burger, and actually it was Sean, the old one of
Yeah,
the old hosts of the show,
yeah.
forced me to eat it on a burger, and I was like, this is incredible. What have I been doing with my life? So
Pissing away a lot of it. I'm gonna be honest, but
a
go ahead.
lot, a lot of years that I missed with that. But anyways, so I was very specific about what I wanted on pizza, right? Until I had the Shack special. Because there are things on that like I don't like mushrooms really, for example, but there's
Yeah.
mushrooms on the Shack special and it's incredible. Bell
It,
peppers I could do without on most things. On that pizza, have to have them.
so
I
it,
have to.
I'm glad.
Onions?
I
I love onions in general
Yeah.
now, but like back then, wasn't a big onion guy, or onion kid on the Shack special. Damn right I want onions on that.
Yeah. They're larger than the sum of their parts.
Yes,
That's what it is.
exactly.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I'll make two more comments and then we're done with the Shack special. We haven't
Yeah.
quite dug the rabbit hole grave of Gourds, cucurbitaceous.
Oh,
Didn't forget. But anyways,
cucurbitaceous.
um, but two things. One, you're right because Katie's not a big olive fan, but it
Yeah.
comes on the Shack special and therefore it must be consumed,
It's awesome.
right?
It's great.
Um, like so, our sister, right, doesn't like pretty much anything that comes on the
Yeah.
Shack special. However, she will she likes the Shack special, but she will pick off certain things. However, she will not order it
Without those things on it.
without those things. And
Yeah.
it's because it's the sum of its parts. You
Yeah.
need them to impart the flavor,
Yeah.
but you don't even if you don't enjoy them. And she has a hard rule against certain things on there. She will not order it without those things. She will just have them removed afterwards
We're
because you
listen,
need them as a component.
we're kind of a weird family when it comes to food, right? I grew up hating cheese, right? Now I
Yeah,
love it. I don't really hate a lot of foods anymore on this day, but I grew up hating cheese. Very weird, right?
yeah,
Our sister hates onions. Don't know why. She loves onion flavor,
yep.
hates onions. We don't know why. The crunch, I guess. We don't know. Stefan here hates cucumbers, even though they're just bricks of water.
Disgusting.
We're weird. It should, we got a lot of weird things going on here.
So now, listen. There's nothing on there that I don't particularly care for. I eat all of its components, but I like them in that particular mix.
If there
But
was
here's
a
the
cucumber on it.
I'm gonna say, for the sake of our argument, I would need to keep it on there and I would mow
Yeah.
it down. I
Yeah.
would.
Okay, good.
Um, because it's just that damn good. It's convinced me that it doesn't matter what I don't want them to go changing it. Please
No, no,
God,
no. Yeah,
knock on wood.
please, Lord have mercy.
Um,
Don't do it.
but okay, so circling back, Vernon's was one. Um, Pizza Shack was one. The third one, and this one doesn't quite fit the same mold. So I gave you my good example.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We need to get the
Pizza
bad
Shack.
one.
I gave you my bad one. It was
Oh,
the
it was the.
college,
Oh,
my
okay.
college
Oh, I
pizza
got you.
joint.
Got you.
That was terrible. I get destroyed. It honestly erased part of my college experience, which I'll never get back, and that's very disappointing. It just sucked that entire part out of what I experienced then, and it's painful. But it was a risk that I had to take because I was looking forward to it when the time came.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right, right.
The third one doesn't quite fit the mold because I don't think it's that great. It's just the nostalgia. It's a hot dog place.
Oh, I think I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, and that's a Houston staple, obviously for Houstonians only,
Yeah.
but the JCI,
Which
do
I
I
didn't which I didn't know it was only a Houston thing until you told me 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, dude, it doesn't happen anywhere else to this day. But the James Coney Island, um, I don't think it's the world's best hot dog. It's not the world's worst hot dog by any
No, no,
means.
no, 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 no.
But it's not the world's best. However, when immediately in my head when I want a hot dog, I want a ballpark dog,
Yep,
a JCI dog,
yep.
or as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, a quick trip.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
The,
this was last week, not just a couple weeks ago. We
okay, I'm
got we
sorry.
got we got back to back hot dog episodes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I want the Walker Street special. That's what I mean. Again, that's hometown, but I want that Walker Street special.
Incredible.
Let's kill it all the way. Let's ride it. I
I
want the whiz on it. I want
Yeah.
the onions. I want the mustard. I want the
Mm,
chili. Send it, bud. Run it through the
yes.
dip and shove it in the hole. That's where I'm getting. That's
Yeah.
what I want.
Whoa. All right. So yeah, I mean I agree on the front of JCI. I think it by no means is like you said the best, right?
No,
No, by no means the worst. It's a very solid dog. But I do think genuinely that it's right behind a ballpark dog. Like if you want a ballpark dog, you can go to JCI and get one, basically.
and and here's the thing. I know it's not great, but in my mind, it's what
That's
I
so
want. Like
nostalgic.
it's a
Exactly.
weird fucked up switch. It's like you ever crave, there's a lot of people that are like this. This was not on the agenda today, but there's a lot of people because me and Katie fight about this. There's a lot of people that are like that with Arby's.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
Arby's, but
I'm
either
like
you
that.
love it or you don't love it.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of the Arby's quote unquote hate comes from wanting to fit in on social
Okay,
media
it's
today.
well,
Because
I don't think you need to quote unquote it. It's pretty.
because listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, Arby's is not the best uh fast food by any means. It's
No.
not even it's I couldn't name right now 10 fast food places off the top of my head, but I would say it's probably not even top 10 for me. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
no.
it's it's just the thought the idea that they're doing their own thing, man. They're the only place where you can get a hot roast beef sandwich and it's good. It's not incredible. It's good. Their sauces are good. The Arby's sauce, the seven pepper sauce, and to be completely honest, Arby's has by far the greatest curly fries I've ever had anywhere. Not just fast food. I'm talking any restaurant that I've been to. Arby's has the best curly fries, and that's an
They're,
argument I'm not willing to have with anybody.
no, they're slamming. They're underrated. There's not as nearly as many locations, but like, and I don't venture out. I think I've had a few of their crazy new ones. They do. They have some new, like they've got some people that are putting some creative work into some stuff, like the
Yeah,
developing new stuff and putting it. Like I haven't tried any of those because like I don't. I need a dude. I need a beef
a
and
beef and
cheddar, and
cheddar.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
put two fucking packets of the Arby sauce on there, and I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of horsey, and it's gonna run all over my face and all over
Yes.
every napkin, and it's
Yes.
gonna grease the shit out of the bag, and it's gonna be sloppy mess. So I shouldn't eat it while I drive. That's what I want. I don't want anything else. And
Yeah.
then occasionally I get the peppers that I dip in the jelly. But
Yeah.
other than that, that's what I'm doing.
It's not the best by any means. I'm not out here saying that, but it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets just because some people on social media said, "Ew, Arby's."
Here's what I'm gonna say. I think there are a few things in this life where, in your mind, when you go, I want insert something, there is no sub. Like right now, again, proud Texan. But if I, in my mind, go, I want barbecue, okay, I'm going to go, oh, we should go to, again, around here, like, I don't know, I guess in Conroe it would have been Jean's Hickory Hut. But if I'm on the way over
Yeah.
there and like Jean's is closed, which RIP, but
Yeah.
if Jean's is closed, then I'm gonna go, all right, let's go to Smokies. And I'll be
Yeah.
okay. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
But if in my mind one day I'm like, man, I could go for
Arby's.
a beef and cheddar. Guess what? Not a fucking thing is going to pacify that till I get a beef
Nope.
and cheddar.
Nope. Not a single
Right?
thing.
Same exact thing with a hot dog. Because if I'm going, ooh, God, I want an out, like I make them at my house and we make some killer dogs, right? But
Yeah.
if I want an out to eat hot dog, not a single one, and I'm going to even say ballpark, nothing is going to pacify what I want for an eat out hot dog unless it's a Walker Street combo. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit what I put. And I'm not even going to try. I would much rather if I'm driving towards the James Coney Island and guess what? It's closed and I have on my mind that I need a hot dog, then guess what? I'm
You're
not
going to the
fucking
next
eating a
one.
hot dog that day.
You're
No, I'm not. Well,
going to the next JCI.
I'm either going to go to the next JCI or I'm just going to forget that I wanted a hot dog completely because I'm never going to be able to pacify that
Yeah.
need. And that's how Arby's is a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for me too, I mean, you know, connecting to the nostalgic thing, JCI is so nostalgic to me because growing up skateboarding, right? The JCI was fairly close to where we would go skate all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 5 to 8 minute drive. And so we would always get it after. In fact, I remember one time my dad going and getting JCI for the entirety of the skate park. Like all the
Yeah.
kids that were there. He went out and got like 4 or 5 boxes of hot dogs, right? Came back with like, I don't know, 40 hot dogs for all these kids. And like, you know, it's like you said, it's not the worst, not the best, but it's just so nostalgic and it's so good. It never disappoints. That's what I think is the most important thing here is it's always exactly how you remember it,
Yeah.
no matter
And
which one you go to.
spot on. And it doesn't matter the location. Some of them you might want to bring some type of side piece or like a firearm or something if
Yeah,
you're going to be
yeah, yeah.
ordering
Some
over
of
there.
them are super sketch,
But
but that kind of makes the
nonetheless, that's
experience a little bit
part of
more.
this. It's part of the
Yeah,
nostalgia,
yeah.
dude. Most of them serve beer. I don't know if you know this.
I didn't, but I am not surprised.
Yeah, and
That's
here's the thing: not just bottled, bro. Some of them have draft.
oh
This is
wow,
crazy to me.
wow. So we're doing some JCI tomorrow. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, we should,
Yeah, we
man.
should do some
Katie,
JCI.
listen. Okay, one last thing. Katie's not a JCI fan, but earlier we talked about, dude. This was not planned this week, and we apologize to everyone.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of the juices flowing here. You the way you feel about curly fries, right? At Arby's,
Yeah.
dude, I will even draw a line in the Sanford Vernons. They're gonna beat them. Listen, the onion rings at JCI.
Oh, dude.
Holy shit, bro. Real fried, none of this product. It's a real fried onion
Yeah.
in thick, like volume, like bubbly
Voluptuous.
batter,
That's what you wanted
voluptuous.
to
Yeah, that's
say.
what I was going. Yeah, I was gonna go voluptuous, but I wasn't quite sure everybody would. Um, but yeah, dude, that thick batter that's like straight pub style.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And they have a hell of a dipping sauce that's kind of like a better, surprisingly, believe it or not, a better bloomin' onion version. A little more
Oh
horseradish
yeah.
to it.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Wow.
It's delicious.
Well, we
Anyway,
we
I'm
really
glad that
got
we
off
could
we really got off topic on this episode. We did not plan on going there. We had some topics we wanted to get to, but we have run out of time, unfortunately. Um,
yeah,
so
okay, let's
it's
let's give her a
it's
little wrap up.
yeah, it's time for us to get into the WWYBDs. I'm going to let you go first this week.
All right, so WWYBD. For me, this is gonna be, and it's very cliche, but this is gonna be an outdoor um okay, so normally when I do like raking of leaves, and it's usually pine needles. Let's be honest, it's not
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
leaves. Okay, but
Mhm.
here when we're doing that raking or whatever, it's more of a chore. But if I could have a Saturday where instead of it being like a chore where I was miserable and I cursed a lot and I was angry and sweaty, if I could live in like a Hallmark version of that, I would be
Yeah.
drinking this,
Yeah.
enjoying it with the kids, raking some leaves, filling up the little pumpkin bags, that
Enjoying
kind of
it
shit.
with the kids around.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the
No,
kids aren't
no, not
having
the
any.
beer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Enjoying the day with the
Okay.
kids,
Okay. Okay.
raking up leaves, putting them in the cliche pumpkin bags.
Yeah.
But actually having real leaves and not pine straw. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I would be doing this. Outdoor chores right at seasonal shift.
Yeah. Mine's also an outdoor thing. It screams fall. I would say I have like two different scenarios that I could be doing it. The most obvious thing in my head is like going to a pumpkin patch type thing, right?
Hmm.
I can just kind of see myself there with it. The other thing is it. This is a putting up Halloween decorations beer for me.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a good
You
one.
know what
That's
I
a great
mean?
one.
This
Yeah.
is very much like a not a cool weather, not a hot like a crisp day, like 74. You're out
Okay,
there
but
putting up the or the Halloween decorations and you got this on the side.
and that's what. Okay, by the way, that's what I meant by Hallmark movie. Because, like, dude,
Yeah.
everyone fails to remember that, like, here when we're putting up Christmas or Halloween, excuse me, shoot, we're putting up Halloween decorations. It's like 90 fucking degrees outside.
Right.
When I'm filling bags of it's pine straw bag pumpkins,
Yeah.
it's like 90% humidity and it's 89 degrees.
Right.
I want it. I don't want it to be cliche Hallmark. I just want it to be Hallmark weather, like
Yeah,
actual
right.
fall.
Yeah. Actual fall. Nice
Yeah.
crisp weather. You're out there doing, like you said, kind of a chore. I guess Halloween decorations could kind of be a chore, but a little bit more
Well,
fun with the kids, you know,
yeah.
out there
Um,
having one of these on the side.
One last thing I was gonna say before we get into the ratings. You know how there's beer bread?
Yeah.
Okay. I want somebody to turn this into cinnamon rolls.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
Bro, like you know how you make beer bread and this is like what leavens or adds, obviously activates the yeast. I
Yeah.
want that, but in a cinnamon roll, and then the
Yeah.
glaze can be like sugar and pumpkin spicy.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
All right, cool.
100%. We should do it, honestly. We should try it.
We should.
We should try
That's
it.
gonna have to go on the list.
Yeah. All right, let's
Anyway,
get into the ratings here. I can roll first if you want me to.
go ahead.
Um, so this is yeah, I'm just gonna get into the ratings and then I'll give a little bit of an outro of it. Entry, I have a 4. Aftertaste, I have a 4. I think it's solid going in. It doesn't really change for me. Um, Body, I have a 4. Honestly, I think I'm actually gonna move it to a 5. Um, I just really do love the flavor of it, dude. I really genuinely do. Um, like we touched at the beginning. It's not too much. It's kind of just the perfect amount of like pumpkin that you want to really get you into that fall.
But it's also not disappointing. Like I don't want anybody to
No,
think that it's watery. I made a
no, no,
comment
no.
earlier about how it doesn't live up to the smell. It's there. It's just not overbearing.
Right, exactly. Um, Color, I have a 6 on the color. I think, they said it was a copper ale. It's copper, right? We
Yep.
poured it. It's right on, and the head is awesome on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitterness, I have a 4 as well. It's pretty much right there where I would want it to be. Um, right there in the middle. I've not had a lot of pumpkin ales. This is actually the only one I think I've ever had. So it's just right there for me. Acidity, I also have a 4. I don't think it's too sweet for what it's trying to be. I don't think it's not sweet enough. I think it's right there on point. And then fizz, I do have a 3. I was kind of hovering around a 2 and a 3. I did have some burps, but it wasn't really, a lot. Um, they're not bad when I do have them. And what I ate today for dinner should not have affected my burps as much. So, that I can kind of get behind that one. So that brings my total to a 30. Um, very good, man. I'm telling you, the only reason that I haven't bought it the last 2 years that I've seen it on the shelves is because we've been doing the podcast and I've had so many beers left over that I haven't wanted to buy any extras. That's the only reason. Because when I had it the first time, I was like, this is something I'm going to buy every time I see it on the shelf because I liked it that much, right? It's not my favorite beer by any means. But when I see it, I'm always like, I want it, right? So definitely not a fridge sitter. I would buy it again 100%. If I see it, I'm going to get it.
I wasn't necessarily turned off. We had a whole conversation about branding. I wasn't turned off by branding. It's just something that I probably in the past, I guess, I've overlooked. I'm also not a huge pumpkin ale, pumpkin spice like seasonal guy because I've had some bad experiences with some others back in the day. But hands down, like I'm not like I would seek it out if it became a seasonal limited or whatever, non-limited
Right.
seasonal.
Right.
I would definitely seek it out. So basically I could have gone, dude, until we got down to like, well, honestly, all the way through except for scores changed a little bit. I echo the comment that you have in every section. So
Yeah.
the score might be slightly different, but the comments are the same. Entry 4, same comment. Aftertaste 4. Body 5. Right?
Yeah.
Color 5, only because again, in my hard-headed self, there's got to be one that's better, but it's a damn perfect color. Okay, if it could be
Yeah.
less, if it was a little less hazy, it would look a little more copper. But yeah, so color I have at a 5. Bitterness and acidity, same exact comments. They were middle of the road instead of slightly above, so 3-3.
Yeah.
And then fizz, I had the same exact thing. I cracked, smelled, poured, showed head, tasted, threw head, marked it down as a 2. Then I waited 4 or 5 sips and changed it to a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm at a 27 as a total.
Yeah.
But the comments are all the same. There was very little differentiation between your thought process and mine aside from number.
It's just a good beer, man. If you're into this kind of thing, I highly recommend it. I think I would, like I said, I've seen it every year since I've gotten it, so I don't know if it's switched from a limited to a seasonal, or if they're just rolling it out every year until it maybe drops off on sales. I don't know what they're doing, but if you see it, I recommend it. It's good. It gets you in the fall spirit, and I'll be getting it again. So
For sure. This is something, hey, by the way, this is something too for sure. Like, what happens in the fall? Like, I would take this to a Halloween party. I would take this to Thanksgiving.
yes,
Like, any get together in the fall, whether it's holiday related or not, like, and I'm not saying you're gonna drink these all night or whatever. Everybody's gonna get shit canned on them or whatever. But like, pick up a sixer and enjoy a conversation.
yeah, for sure. All right, we have gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
As a reminder, all cucurbitaceae are gourds, and all gourds are cucurbitaceae.